Well, hello, welcome to the new video. And this week we are testing the mid-size SUV from the Peugeot. It's a Peugeot 3008. And with this new generation, they went for the all-electric powertrains, plug-in hybrid, and the hybrid. And in terms of the design of the body, the car is now an SUV coupe, not the typical SUV style. And what I respect about the Peugeot 3008 is its fantastic aerodynamics. The car in the electric variant boasts a drag coefficient of 0.28. In this case, it might be around 0.29, but it's still an exceptional drag coefficient. And it is achieved by the active flaps in front of the radiators that we have, which is fantastic aerodynamic element. Then also we have quite a low frontal area, starting really rather low. This connection is really rather smooth. That's good. And the Peugeot is interesting because it doesn't need the air curtains here on the sides in order to achieve good aerodynamic coefficient around the front bumper. The aerodynamic efficiency, it has this monolithic sort of design to it. So yeah, really interesting. And you also have these tire deflectors in front of the tires, right? So I have to say, really well resolved. And in terms of design, you gotta love the Peugeot. You have these free claws, and it just looks the money, I have to say, the lights, and also the way they work during the night. Then another aerodynamic element which I love is the curved windshield. There is quite a good curvature to the windshield, although the angle isn't very steep, so you don't need that much of a curvature. The nice design element about the car are these badges on the front wings. I really do like this design element. It sort of reminds you a little bit of a Ferrari, so I have to say it's kind of cool. In terms of wheels and tires, so the car is running on 19-inch wheels with a tire of 225/55 R19. So that's a good size of the tire compared to the weight of the car, which is 1630 kilograms. In terms of the suspension, we are running McPherson strut at the front with the stabilizer, with the elastic beam torsion suspension at the rear, also with stabilizer. And in terms of brakes, I think we have just over 300mm brakes at the rear and 280mm brake discs at the rear and over 300mm at the front. The rims, they look quite aerodynamic, so that's nice. And in terms of the positive caster on the front suspension, the Peugeot 3008 is running a good 5.5 degree positive caster on the front suspension. We have the 2.7 meter wheelbase, and in terms of the side aerodynamics, the silhouette, you can see that we have a quite nice and swooping roofline prolonged by this roof spoiler, which I think they called it the floating roof spoiler, this spoiler, particularly because of these two fins on the side of it. The spoiler also has an opening here in the central part, and it's actually making the airflow tighter to the body of the car, going this direction and further down over here, and basically minimizing the rear area of the car. I think it's a really clever solution. On this side, on the right side, you also have the fuel tank, which is of capacity of 55 liters. That's nice. Now we can move to the rear of the car, and again the design is really rather fabulous. Now that we're at the rear of the car, I need to talk you through the geometry of the wheels, which is such that we are running more negative camber at the rear wheels than at the front wheels, as well as a toe in. The rear lights, they also have this beautiful signature to them. So again the free close signature. Yeah, you can see also the beautiful animation, so that is quite nice. The boot, well, you open the boot in the middle with a button, which is nice and practical, and the boot is actually really rather nice, although you have it cut down through the SUV shape. But yeah, nice and practical boot. You have two hooks as well, strong LED light, 12-volt socket, and you also get the double floor, and there is a really, again, a very deep amount of space inside there. I think you can also have the spare tire in there if you really want it, and you can hold it like this with these two holders. So yeah, I have to say, quite nice and practical boot. You also have these these storage areas here on the side, and the carpet is nice quality. And it's a good boot, and you can close it electrically, and also it works quite well with your feet. We can try it right now. Hang on. You see, in the Peugeots, this feature usually works really rather well. Yeah, so anyway, let's carry on around the car, and let me show you how it is to be seated at the rear of the car. And you can see the seating is actually quite all right. I have just enough space for my knee, very happy for my feet, very good space for my feet, even despite the seat being in its lowest position. And for the head, I have to say, quite okay, even despite I'm 1.9 meters long. The practicality, quite okay size of the door bins, really rather large. You have the air conditioning here and some storage areas over here as well. You get two USB-C connectors and armrest with cup holders. Strong LED lights here at the rear. It's quite a good practicality. I have really nothing to add, and I think in the higher equipment level you also do get third row of air conditioning, although I'm not quite sure about that. The opening could be wider, as you can see, and also the angle into which the door opens could be wider too, for easier access with the child seat. But in terms of the conception of the car, I have to say the Peugeot really has done quite well with the conception of the car. So as you can see, the driver is seated behind the middle of the wheelbase, just as it should be seated in a driver's conception. So I was really quite happy with it. You have a really good balance feel when sitting in the car. Yeah, well resolved. Now let me show you the engine. And when you open the bonnet, you have to do it twice, like in a BMW car, which is nice. So yeah, here is the bonnet, but you have the mechanical lifter rather than the hydraulic one. Put it down here, and well, this is the hybrid. When the car was brand new, they said it's a 136 horsepower hybrid. Now it's 145. It got a little boost. So it has a new third generation of the 1.2 liter PureTech engine. This engine got massive improvements. It now runs a timing chain rather than the wet belt in the past. It has a Miller cycle, compression ratio of 10.5 to 1. It has a variable geometry turbocharger. So really massive amount of improvements for this engine to make the customer feel better about the engine rather than from the past. Also loads of acoustic isolation, not only this one on the bonnet, but also this one, which is part of the engine cover, is acoustic isolation. The front mounted turbocharger. Yeah, it actually looks really rather cool. It's paired, of course, with the hybrid system. It has a 0.4 kilowatt hour battery, which gives the car 21 horsepower and 50 newton meters of boost. Yeah, that works pretty well. The battery is interesting. It weighs only 12 kilograms, so this hybrid system doesn't add a lot of weight to the car. The gearbox is a new 6-speed EDSC gearbox. It's a different gearbox from they moved on from the Aisin into, I think it's a sort of Belgian or Netherlands company. It has a nice mechanical sound to it, which I actually enjoyed during usage of this car. So yeah, and the engine is mounted very slightly ahead of the front axle, so that's also quite good for the weight distribution. It also seems to be that they've tried to position it as low as possible within the engine bay. Yeah, the car has together 145 horsepower and 230 plus those 50 newton meters from the electric motor in the sports mode, and it has quite a good dynamics actually for what it is. Yeah, so anyway, this would be it to the walk around of the car. And now let me tell you more about the experience with the Peugeot 3008 by sitting inside the car, going off from this sort of meadow and driving further along the road to tell you more about the experience with the Peugeot 3008 hybrid. Oh, well, welcome inside the Peugeot 3008 hybrid with 145 horsepower, and let's sum up the car over the whole week that I had it. And first, let me start up with the interior. And my God, this is a beautiful and practical and very good to use interior, really. It is really that good, and I think it's much better than what the VW offers, the VW group. It is fabulous. Let me start up the car. So, Peugeot has resolved the problem that I had previously, that you had to really push the button very strongly in order to start up the car. Now, you just press it simply and it works, so that's good. And wow, I have to say I really do love this T-shaped interior. It is fabulous. It not only looks good, but it's just so nice to use. I also love this sort of textile that goes all around you in the interior, and it sort of makes this ambiance that the interior sort of hugs you, and it's really rather spacious, it seems. That's really nice. Also the sitting position, you don't feel squeezed in here. It feels reasonably comfortable. The adjustability in the steering wheel is also very nice, and there are no problems like there were in the past that the top of the steering wheel hides the display. So that's good in this regard. The sitting position itself, quite okay, sort of on the line with the dashboard, which is quite nice. And then you have this panorama display ahead of you, which is correct. And then I like how it's done. So you have this big cave with the wireless charging over here, so just put your phone there. That's nice. Then you have this sort of hockey stick like space for the buttons, and that's actually very practical, because there you can change the driving modes, and that's actually a very nice thing. So you have sport, normal, eco, and also you have the hill descent control, which you have to put into the neutral before going down the hill for it to work. And then you have also terrain modes, which is incredible for the car being only front wheel drive. So you have, I think, gravel, snow and mud. So these are the terrain modes that you have, right? So I have to say, really rather brilliant for what it offers for being a front wheel drive car. And then another very practical thing is that you have this volume control very close to you. Also the triangle for the critical situation is very close to you. So all of this is very comfortable. Then you change, you have this stalk for the gearbox slightly further away from you, but you get used to it. You put it into D, or you can put it into manual mode, which I did most of the time, which is fantastic. The door beams big enough, sort of tilted down armrest, and also where you set up the electric mirrors and stuff. But yeah, very close to you, very good to touch. You have this fantastic, fabulous heated Peugeot small steering wheel, which is really sporty. It has very good, very high quality buttons on it, just lovely. In terms of practicality again, then you have this space that you can open. Over there you have hidden 2 USB-C connectors and 12-volt socket, and you can close it like this and open it like this. 2 cup holders and a very deep armrest. Yeah, really rather deep. And you also have air conditioning in the armrest, which is fabulous. So that's great. And you also have a small organizer inside of that. So I have to say, really a fabulous interior from the Peugeot. It is extremely well built. Like really, you have soft touch plastics over here, really nice, high quality, and nothing of these black piano trim squeaks. Nothing, really nothing squeaks in here, which is incredible if you compare it to VW products. This is absolutely top quality. I really do love it. And then maybe to add a little bit more to the design, I love this floating screen, and I love the very sort of gentleman-like ambient lighting that you have over here, over the dashboard. It's not like VW products, just a LED stripe. Here it looks really rather cool. It's sort of backlit from behind, right? I have to say, massive praise for the interior of the Peugeot 3008. Anyway, let me start and drive the car. So some cars are coming, we can accelerate very quickly. And here is the first thing that I need to tell you. If you buy this car, the Hybrid 145, you need to, well, for the most comfort during driving, most power and dynamics, which is nice that you don't feel lacking of, you need to have a car in the sports mode, and that is absolutely great. I mean, in this mode it feels like it has no problem really. The car weighs at 1630 something kilograms and is 145 horsepower, and it really feels okay, really good with it being in the sports mode, because you have the boost from the electric motor, and it's a noticeable boost. Like when you change during driving from normal to sport, it is a very noticeable change in the dynamics and the sort of get-go of the car. So really that's my first advice to you. But then there are differences in how the powertrain works. So when you have the car in the normal or eco mode, it works like a proper hybrid. So it turns off the engine on the lights, it goes away from the stoplights on the electric mode and then starts the engine. So in the city it is very good to drive in the normal mode or in the eco. But then when you're away from the city, when you're on the motorway, on the B roads, somewhere when you're going for a long distance, you need to put it in the sports mode to give you the best possible efficiency. And efficiency is a thing that I was really rather happy with this car. But anyway, we're going from the village, and even though we're going uphill, dynamics, as I say, really nice. Here is the corner, and another praise, the car corners really beautifully. What I have to praise, lightness. This car doesn't feel too heavy, it's a positive. Beautiful steering, beautifully weighted, beautifully precise, just really lovely steering, I have to say, and together with this beautiful steering wheel, fabulous. And then the behavior of the car, so it corners correctly, it leans onto the outer rear wheel, it has very good balance through cornering, it also has a very late onset of the understeer, which is something you want as a driver. And even despite sitting really quite high, because this Peugeot, even though it has a coupe silhouette, you're sitting really rather high, you just have quite a good feeling from driving it, yeah? Like here, so you can see the cornering speed is really quite high, you feel really confident and comfortable in the car. We are also seated behind the middle of the wheelbase, which is crucial. And yeah, it just feels, I gotta say, it feels much better than the VW Tiguan, where the driver is seated much closer to the front wheels, and also the car goes by the nose into the undulations. This car, much more balanced behavior. When it's going over the bumpy surface, it goes like this, yeah? Whereas the Volkswagen would go down on the nose, this car goes really rather flat. It has a very good damping, and I think the damping is another side of the car. It really feels like it has this Citroen Advanced Comfort damping, just slightly more stiffer, slightly more sportier ride, but really it filters out bumps really rather nicely. The faster you go, the lesser you feel how bumpy the road is. And just to add to the comfort of the suspension of the Peugeot 3008, I'm literally going on a field and I'm doing 29, and this is really comfortable. It has sort of these grooves from the tractor tires, but it feels really comfortable. And the faster I go, the better it is, the better I feel it filters out the bumps and undulations. So really rather comfortable and fantastic suspension from the Peugeot 3008. So really, again, I have to praise the damping of the car. Nice. There is very minimal amount of roll when you're changing directions. It's really rather stable. So I really have to praise this. Now, what you will be interested in, of course, is the economy of the car. And for that, let me just turn around very quickly. The economy of the car, I can just press this, and I've done 996 kilometers with this car this week, and it is at 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers. It went slightly a bit more up because I was driving quickly, but it was constantly at 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. And this, for a car being this tall, this sort of bulky like a VW Tiguan, I have to say is really rather good. Considering that I was doing sporty driving on the mountain pass twice, I was doing motorways at 130 to 145 kilometers per hour in the windy conditions too, because it's now autumn. So I have to really praise the economy. It's really nice, and I'm not even on the summer tires. These are the all-season tires, the Cross Climate 2 SUV. So the efficiency really fabulous on the Peugeot 3008. And what helps is massively it's not only the nice powertrain that it has, the efficient 3-cylinder PureTech engine of the new generation, Gen 3, with the Miller cycle and VGT turbo, variable turbo geometry, but also the aerodynamics of the car. For a mid-size SUV that this car is, it has a drag coefficient of only 0.28, which is fabulous in the class. And what helps is, of course, the coupe shape of the canopy of the car, but really also the frontal area is really rather nicely. It has this monolithic sort of design so that it doesn't need the air curtains in order to achieve aerodynamic efficiency. It's just a lovely car, and you also notice this aerodynamic quality, because when I was driving on the motorway and I had these crosswinds from the trucks or normal crosswinds because of the weather, the car wasn't really affected by them that much for being an SUV. So again, really rather lovely. Then another thing that I like is the isolation, the acoustic isolation of the car. It has the laminated front windshield, and this makes the car to be really rather quiet, and it is. Compared even to the Volkswagen Tayron that I tested, this car feels much more quieter, really, also from the floor, but also from the windshield. So yeah, I really quite did enjoy that. And yeah, then there are the seats, really rather nice, I have to say. For the thighs, they are quite tight, I would say more for maybe women's thighs, not quite sure, but for me definitely rather tight. But here for the back, quite okay. But I really did enjoy the interior. So you have these toggles, these shortcut buttons, eye toggles from the Peugeot, and I really do love them. So you can configure them, you can turn off the assistance very quickly, or you can have it as a shortcut to ADAS, and there you can turn off the assistant, the lane keep assist and stop start and things like this. So yeah, I really do love this function. It is really nice. So I have to say, overall, the experience with the Peugeot 3008 hybrid is a really good experience. The only thing is, for the customers, I think that might be a problem is the fact that it only has a 3-cylinder engine, which some more conservative customers might have a problem with, and that's why they rather go for the Tiguan with the more normal 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. But really, during my usage, absolutely no problems. The only slight problem is that it's a really quiet engine, and combined with the fantastic acoustic isolation, you don't really hear it when it's revved out. So you really need to take care when you're changing gears. Yeah, if you're using in the manual mode of the gearbox. So yeah, and in terms of the engine, come on, it's not the old PureTech. It has resolved the problems. It uses the Miller cycle, as I said, variable geometry turbo, and more crucially, it is using a timing chain instead of a timing wet belt. So I have to say, really, you will not be experiencing any of the previous problems that this engine had. And the boost from the battery is really nice. You can also recharge it really rather quickly. And the thing you also need to cope with is quite a strong regen when you let off the accelerator. You can see now, full regen, 65, 63. It's really quite a strong regen, but you find to like it with time, because you don't need to use the pedal brake in many of the driving scenarios, and it's just really rather comfortable to use it like this. Yeah, so I have to say it's actually a really lovely car, and to add to all of this, it looks fantastic. The design is really rather fabulous, as always with Peugeot. So yeah, to maybe sum it up, I have to say the Peugeot 3008, quite an underrated car by some of the customers in the comments and stuff, commenting and critiquing the 1.2 hybrid. Really nice powertrain. Even when you load the car up, we came now to my grandparents, 3 people inside and full luggage, and I had no problems going on the motorway at 150 kilometers per hour with a consumption of I think, what was it, 7.1 liters at 150. Yeah, so fantastic. And maybe to add to that, to this motorway, at 140 you are running 3000 rpm, and at 150 you are at 3200 rpm. So yeah, I gotta say, really a lovely car. And if you like this car, if you like the way it looks, and if you were checking it out on the web, definitely don't be afraid of it. Definitely don't be afraid of the hybrid. It's a really good powertrain system, and you will be just very happy with the usability and with the day-to-day usability of the car, the efficiency, the way how nice it is to drive, how quiet it is, and how comfortable it is. It's also reasonably practical, decent space in the back, although there are cars that have slightly more space, and also a decent space in the boot. While again, there are cars which have slightly more space in the boot, but these shouldn't be the critical things that make you decide when you buy the car. It should be the way the car drives and the way the fuel economy is and the range is. And in this car, that is absolutely okay and fabulous actually. So yeah, this would be it to my review and my look at the Peugeot 3008, an SUV of the mid-size category that I put into the table of the cars which I really like. And well, if you found the video useful, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, because more videos are coming on very soon, and I hope to see you in the very next video. In the meantime, take care of you and goodbye.